We had a sad event in the family this year. Our beautiful dachshund Rollo passed away after being with us for 18 years. And as anybody knows, when an animal passes, it's sad. But out of sadness, there is joy. And Rollo brought us a lot of joy. We got him from the animal shelter. He was a lovely little dog. It was one of those dogs that had been there for a long time, and probably if we hadn't gotten Rollo, who knows what would have happened. It was possible that his demise would have come very early, but we got him, and we picked him up, and my wife realized that Rollo was going to have to go on a diet because Rollo the dachshund weighed 28 pounds, and that's a lot for a dachshund. So Kathy put him on a diet and slimmed him down over months and months until he was 14 pounds, which is a good weight for a dachshund, but Rollo didn't think so. He would have preferred to have been 28 pounds. The apocryphal story is that they left him in a house with a bag of dog food when they abandoned him, and he was having self-service dinners, lunches, and breakfasts. So we should have known something was wrong when we went to one of the family Christmas gatherings, and my brother, who got chocolate-covered cherries like clockwork every year, began to lovingly unwrap the chocolate-covered cherries, anticipating having one of those lovely squishy cherries with the cream center, and he reached in and he got one, and then he reached in and he got two, and with number 3 he reached in and he got a piece of brown paper. And as he looked out through the hole in the other side of the present, we realized that Rollo had stealthily drilled a hole through the other side of the package and eaten everything away from the other end. Now, you would have thought that that would have taught the humans not to do the same thing the next year. But we did, and Rollo did exactly the same thing. Finally, the next Christmas we learned not to do that, but adults don't learn very well. And come Halloween one year, Kathy and I had bought these wonderful little packages of gummy bears in multicolors. They were really quite lovely, and we couldn't finish them all after the kids had had them, so we took them to school, and we still had a few left over, and inadvertently I came home from school and left them on the floor. I went into another room to do whatever I was doing in another part of the house and came back, and there were little gummy bear wrappers all over the floor of the living room. Rollo had managed to eat the entire rest of the gummy bear packages, and the next couple of days he pooped rainbows. It was lovely. They would come out in red and green and blue and gold. And as usual, we'd put Rollo on a diet until his next adventure, which was fascinating. Rollo's things seemed to happen around holidays. Kathy had gone to the grocery store to get those baking supplies you get because they're on sale early in December. And she'd gotten sugar and flour, and she was in a hurry and went out to the car and accidentally left them on the floor, only to come in to see Rollo with a white muzzle, a hole in the sugar bag. It had been decreased about half, and Rollo on the floor going, he was on a sugar high, and I mean a sugar high. We called poison control, and they said, he'll be fine, just let him drink water. And after about 2 hours of him shaking and shivering on her lap, Rollo was fine. But the piece de resistance with Rollo came on December of another year. I had had an embolism, and I'd carefully packed my blood thinner medicine into these locking packages so they wouldn't be gotten into by anything. And I'd zipped them up in my suitcase, and we went out to dinner. We came back home, and lo and behold, the suitcase was zipped open by Rollo, and each one of the containers of the blood thinner was popped open, and Rollo had eaten them all. Now, this was a new blood thinner, and they didn't even have a reversing agent for it yet. Everybody freaked. Rollo went to the special vet, and he got several transfusions. After 3 or 4 days, Rollo was fine. And he also is probably listed in some medical encyclopedia for veterinarians somewhere about how to treat a dog on this new kind of blood thinner. Rollo had many, many adventures. We loved him dearly. But the most wonderful thing about the dog is the way he entertained us with the foods he loved to eat. Thank you.